Former federal prosecutor for the Eastern District of Virginia, Joe Moreno, joins me. Joe, what do you think about this prosecution and verdict?
Hey, Greta, good to be with you. Well, I'm not surprised that Peter Navarro was convicted. Similar to Steve Bannon last year, it's a relatively straightforward prosecution, right? Either you complied with a congressional subpoena or you didn't. I think what's surprising here is that this case was prosecuted at all. Keep in mind, Congress issues subpoenas all the time, and they are routinely ignored. And what happens is when it goes to the Justice Department, they throw it in the garbage. And the last time before these two cases, a case like this was prosecuted was during the Watergate era, before I was born. And so I think it's just another piece of evidence that this is an extremely aggressive Justice Department. Doesn't mean these cases aren't legitimate cases, but when you look at it from the perspective of are these routinely prosecuted, the answer is no.
I mean, that is the criticism. The justice is so uneven on them. Going back to the 70s, when I started doing research, very rarely are these subpoenas, these contempt of Congress subpoenas, criminally enforced. And let me give you a real highlighted one. In 2012, the Congress held in criminal contempt the Attorney General of the United States, Eric Holder. And what do you think Eric Holder did with that? Well, he certainly didn't prosecute himself. He dumped it in the trash can. I mean, if we're going to prosecute people for these, it's got to be even. If we're not going to, it's got to be even. And right now we've got two people, Peter Navarro, who's been convicted, and Steve Bannon, who's been convicted, and he's got his case up on appeal. But all the other criminal subpoenas that have gone on for the last 20 years, where are they, for our criminal trials?
Look, when people look at what's happening here, right, when they look at the fact that Donald Trump is being prosecuted for issues regarding classified documents, following a whole other string of cases where people were given no charges or a slap on the wrist, right, including the president himself. And when they look at the aggressive nature of how prosecutors here want to schedule these trials for Donald Trump right at the height of a campaign, you kind of take a look at this and say, this seems like the Justice Department directly injecting itself into the political process. None of this is necessary. All of these charges against Donald Trump could have waited until after the election next year. But the DOJ seems absolutely determined to make the most of this situation. And let's face it, at some point, Republicans will be in control again. And so the standard is now set that if an aggressive Justice Department can be used by the Democrats, you can bet they'll be used by the Republicans when they're controlling things. So I'm not sure we're going down a good road here, but you see why people are upset.
Well, it's very disappointing to me how many lawyers who know that, who recognize this, who won't speak up. That's what's sort of shocking to me. I mean, those of us who've been in the system, they know what's going on.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, look, you can be partisan, but you also need to be objective sometimes, right? I mean, and you can look at this and say, okay, again, these aren't necessarily bad charges, but the fact that they're being brought, the timing of when they're being brought, and the aggressiveness with which they're seeking trial dates for all these folks, you have to wonder, this is not normally how things are done. Normally, the DOJ avoids impacting elections. This all seems like it's directly intended to impact next year's election. So again, now that the standard is set, it'll be difficult to kind of wheel it back in the future.
Joe Moreno, thank you.
Thanks, Greta.